So just to be clear for our viewers, if your child is 4 years old by September 1st, there's no eligibility for VPK other than they're 4, and they can go through this system.
And a Florida resident.
And a Florida resident. Good point.
Yes.
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 And for financially assisted childcare, they're going to go through this process of eligibility and then possibly be on the waiting list.
Correct.
And Renee, the role of the Early Learning Coalition in all of this is so important. And talk a little bit about how you interact with them and how you help the providers. We can't leave the actual child care providers out of this mix because they're the ones who are providing that care for our children every day.
Right. So this is, as Mike said, and Sheila, this is a partnership. So we have to make sure that our families are getting the services that they need or they're qualified for in some cases, and that our providers as well, that we're helping them through this process and partnering with them as well. So basically, some of what we do is just to monitor and have conversations. We look at the data a lot. That's been very helpful. It helps us forecast how many children we can serve in the financially assisted programs. And we also, we know how many children there are for the voluntary pre-K, and so we can track and better monitor so we can help make decisions going forward, and that's very important when you're funded from many different sources. So we work together and we forecast how many children we think will be coming into the system, and how many people can we get from our waiting list, and we monitor that. We monitor the dollar and cents, and that requires very close collaboration. Additionally, we want to make sure that our families that they can easily access 211 and what does the wait time look like, and make sure that it's as easy as possible for parents to hear about childcare and then be able to apply. So we want to make sure it's a seamless process, and that's what we're working together to do. And I'm new here, but so far it's been wonderful to see this collaboration, and there's always room for improvement, and we're working on that because we're in the very beginning stages. But it is wonderful to see how a parent and a provider goes from using technology and the relationships that we have. Parents can move from A to Z quite easily.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you to talk a little bit about your relationship with those child care centers and what you're doing to try and ensure that they are providing as much quality as they can. Keeping in mind, Mike talked about there's all these different funders in the mix, but we still have thousands of children on the waiting list and thousands of children who have not yet gotten there, and our reimbursement rates, even for those that are being paid for or being subsidized, are woefully behind. So there's limits to what we can do, but there is a function for the Early Learning Coalition to promote quality in the centers. Absolutely.
And we have to make sure that all children have access to this quality care. Some people are fortunate enough to be able to get that on their own, but we need to just make sure that everybody is getting that. And a provider who wants to partner with the Early Learning Coalition, we ensure that they're properly licensed and that they're following all the requirements. Their teachers have the requirements that are necessary to be part of our program, and we have contracts with them, and we have a provider portal. We do provider services in-house at the Early Learning Coalition, and we basically we assist them with getting a contract and understanding the system. Their time and attendance is done electronically as well, and we are there to answer any questions they may have.
And one other little piece that I just want to throw in at this last minute is the developmental screening, because as I mentioned in the opening, those early years are so important, and if you can catch any potential developmental delays early, then they can move on. And so that's something you're worried about, and also connects to back to 211 in a different way.
Right. Both our children in our school readiness program, those that are financially assisted, and our voluntary pre-K, there are all sorts of assessment tools that are required and that we monitor to ensure that they're taking place, that can capture how much children are learning when they're in programs through the Early Learning Coalition, as well as are there any red flags or any concerns? Does this child need some monitoring? Does the child need a referral to somewhere to get services, whether it be speech and language or occupational therapy? So we ensure that children have these screenings so that we know that in our centers that we're taking the individual needs of the child into consideration and connecting them with the right resources in the community.
Which may be a referral to Part C at the Children's Diagnostic and Treatment Center, or it may be a referral to
211, and 211 does operate a special needs helpline thanks to the funding from the Children's Services Council, and we are available to help parents identify where they might have concerns about their child's early growth and development, and we're even doing some preliminary screenings over the phone with them and then connecting them for full assessments where it appears that there might be a reason for a concern.
Excellent. And there are special needs slots that are available thanks to the county.
Absolutely, and we've been very fortunate for those. There's approximately 87 people who are in those slots right now, and they've been very flexible with us about utilizing those dollars. As we know, there's a little bit of, we're looking for dollars right now because we're overutilized. So we're very fortunate when our partners understand the need to be flexible, and they were very flexible with us. So those are things that make this community such a great community. I mean, I tell people, I'm very fortunate. I live here and I was born here, but everybody gets along, and everybody's here to make it. They understand if you really work with these children, and you can make a better life for them. And I just think, thank goodness for the work that everybody does around the table here, because that's what it is. It's not Broward Regional, it's not 2-1, it's what we all do together. And Cindy, you've been doing this a long time, and you're very smart at it too, and it's linking it all together. And that's what you've assisted in doing many different things, especially match dollars are very important, because it does link things together. And we're very fortunate. You have a Sharon Cohen who's helped us on some cases here, which allow for flexibility, because things do come up that aren't always in the, there's so many policies, procedures, but things come up where things can be worked out. So your staff has been very accommodating in this process
I'm
too.
glad to hear that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do love, I share with that love for this community, our tagline is "Our focus is our children," and I think that the Children's Services Council and our partners always keep that in the forefront. It's not about territory, it's not about ego, it's about our children and making the right decisions for our children. And so I'm really grateful to all of you for keeping that in the forefront of your work and for working together. I hope that our viewers recognize what a jewel they have here in our community. We're not perfect. We have a long way to go in reaching all of the children who need financially assisted childcare, but you can help, and I'm going to show you how at the end of this show. We hope the information that you've gotten today so far has proven useful to those who need or someone who needs subsidized childcare. For copies of this program or any other episode of Future First, please access our YouTube library through our website, cscbroward.org. I want to thank Renee Jaffe, Sheila Smith, and Mike De Lucca for helping us understand how the child care system in Broward works, and I'm sure our guests will agree that there is a role that many of you viewers can take in advocating for more state and federal funding so that the thousands of children who are on waiting lists for quality subsidized care that we've been talking about today will be able to take advantage of it. Please enjoy this heartwarming video produced by the Children's Movement of Florida, and consider joining me and my guests as members of the Children's Movement. We need you. So watch the video and please visit www.childrensmovementflorida.org. And don't forget to join us next time on Future First, Focus on Broward's Children.
Did you know Florida is the 4th largest state? With 18 million of us. Florida was discovered in 1513 by Ponce de Leon. Actually, he was looking for the Fountain of Youth. He was cool. I think he was kind of tall, maybe short. He had a hat with a big feather. He came in a boat. It was pretty big. He came all the way from Spain. That's further away than Disney World. Ponce decided to call the place La Florida for the Festival of Flowers. When he got here, he saw flowers everywhere. Pink ones, blue ones, yellow ones, really big ones with curly tips. It's not just flowers, but a whole lot of things grow here in Florida. Like oranges, tons of oranges. We grow more oranges than anyone. We grow strawberries and grapefruit and palm trees and cows. The most important thing that would grow in Florida is us, your children. Over 200,000 children are born in Florida every year. We are the fountain of youth Ponce was looking for. We are the future. When I grow up, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be an explorer. When I grow up, I want to be a teacher or a rock star. I want to be a violinist. I want to be an accountant. I definitely want to be a comedian. Shrugging sauce. I want to fix teeth. I want to drive a truck. I want to be an actress. A chef and a farmer. Computer genius. I want to fix anything that is broken. When I grow up, I want to be the leader of Florida. I want to be your senator. I want to be your president. But there is a problem, a big problem. A third of us just aren't ready to even enter kindergarten. 30% of us third graders have trouble reading or can't read at all.
Worse than that, 61% of us 10th graders can't read very well, and some of us can't really read at all.
Hundreds of thousands of us have no health insurance.
You spend more than $20,000 to keep me in jail, while you only spend a third of that to keep me in school.
You spent $6 billion on transportation, roads, and highways. More than $2 billion on corrections and prisons.
$600 million on juvenile justice programs.
Sadly, only 3% of Florida's budget is spent on programs for us, your children.
But studies prove, with real investments in learning programs,
Especially in the early childhood years.
Florida will have fewer dropouts.
More jobs. Less crime. This is so important, we started a movement. The Children's Movement of Florida. It's a way to get everybody moving in the right direction. I'm counting on you as your child, your grandchild, your future. Invest in me. Invest in me. Invest in me. And me. And me. Invest in me. I'm worth every penny.